Okay, we'll work. Good evening, amateur radio operators. A reminder that the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night 2-meter net will be starting in 15 minutes, and that's at 7 p.m. And this net will be live streamed on YouTube with search of N8IJG. This is N8IJG. K8VLA, N8IJG. Good evening, Paul. Yes, I had a chance to get it out, and it needs washing, but to get out and play with it a little bit.
That's a wonderful feeling.
Oh yeah, I had the top down for a little bit, and it was fun to have it back out again.
After the cooped up in the winter, it's a great thing. I'm looking forward with all the weather breaking, although it's been a bit moist, and it looks like it's going to continue to be a bit moist for a couple of weeks. By golly, I can't even mow my backyard. I got 3 acres here, and it's underwater still. So maybe it'll dry up someday, but the long-range forecast I saw, they're predicting a very hot summer, and actually last year my weather station clocked out the second hottest one is 19. So maybe we'll be coming up on that soon. K8VLA, looking forward to that.
All right, Paul. I've got a postage stamp here, just slightly over a quarter acre, with a house on it, and so not as much grass as you have. Did get it mowed yesterday. Did get a couple barrels worth. Yeah, summer takes me 40 minutes maybe, tops, to get the lawn mowed. Yesterday it took me about a little over an hour. I had to take smaller swipes, so yeah, that's the way I feel. I haven't heard the forecast, future forecast, but the way it went a few years ago, similar to this, we had a hot summer, so I'm kind of was expecting that.
And Bill, yeah, I've got a subcompact tractor diesel with a 60-inch mower, and I can wipe this out all in an hour. But my wife is never happy with the trim work. It's kind of rough, so she decides she's going to mow it with the push mower, which takes her probably 2 days, 4 hours a day. I don't know what she puts into it to make it look pretty. So it is what it is. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. K8VLA.
Yeah, I can imagine trying to do it with a push mower. A friend of mine has a house with roughly an acre, and this was a number of years ago. His tractor went down, and we used push mowers to get the yard done, and it was high grass. I think it took us 2 days to do it with two machines. So I understand, but you think a weed whacker after you mowed it, a weed whacker would be enough to clean up the edging.
A little bit of history. Until I got the subcompact tractor, I used to mow mine. I've got collected 6 General Electric tracks in various sizes, and up until 10 years ago, I mowed my property with an electric tractor on charge. Usually would take me about 2 4-hour days to get it all done. And now I'm spoiled when I can knock this out with this big ass diesel. Excuse me, French, sorry about that. K8VLA.
Yeah, it's going back to tool time, power and size. I was involved with a group a number of years ago, and one of the members of the group invited the organization over to her house. She was a pilot. She had her own airstrip on her property outside of Concord, right around there, and I forget how long the strip was, and They had a really good sized tractor that they used to mow the strip and to roll it. So, yep, size does matter.
I'm familiar with Concorde. Actually, I am not a pilot, never obtained my license, but I have done a lot of flying in small private planes. I had a friend that had his own plane. We flew hundreds of hours in it. We used to be based out of Concorde, real small strip. It was a little bit crooked, and then we moved over into Painesville, and then he moved on in life, and now he's flying the big jets all over the world. But it was an experience. I kind of know how to fly. It was a good thing. He wanted me to solo. He was an instructor, but I chickened out. So here we are years later. I never got my license. But it was an experience. KVLA coming up on the net.
All right, Paul. Yeah, I fly when I have to. That's about all I can say. But yes, coming up on the net, so I better throw a couple switches here. K8VLA, N8IJG.
Calling CQ, hello CQ, for the Lake County Amateur Radio Association, Thursday night, 2-meter net. Good evening everyone, welcome to the Lake County Amateur Radio Association's Thursday night, 2-meter net. This net meets every Thursday at 7 p.m. on the 147.210 megahertz repeater, which is owned, sponsored, and maintained by LaCara, the Lake County Amateur Radio Association of Lake County, Ohio. Your net control station for this session of LaCara Thursday night 2-meter net is N8IJG, November 8, India Juliet Golf. My name is Bill, and I'm located in Wickliffe. The purpose of the net is primarily for, but not necessarily limited to, the sharing of amateur radio information with each other. Here's a list of some of the things we're looking for here on the net. Any information you may have concerning VE testing sessions, AmFest information, or any information you may have downloaded from the various amateur radio websites. We're interested in any DX that you may have worked, whether it was on HF, VHF, or UHF. Are you a member of any other clubs in addition to or other than LaCara? If so, what activity has your club been up to? We'll take sunshine reports here on the net. If you know of someone who's recovering from an illness or surgery, let us know so we may offer words of encouragement here on the net. We'll take any silent key announcements you may have. We'll also take classified items here on the net. If the item you are selling belongs to you, then you can mention the price. But if the item belongs to a buddy or an estate sale, please refrain from mentioning the price. This is N8IJG for the Lake County Amateur Radio Association's Thursday night 2-meter net. Well then, we need to get the net started, and to do so, I will be asking for check-ins, but we always begin the net first with mobile, low power, and Echolink stations. So if you happen to be traveling on Interstate 90 somewhere between Cleveland and Erie, or out and about running an errand on this Thursday evening, we'd like to hear from you. So then, if there are any mobile or low power stations which
I believe there was a double in there. Ed, BKE, I have you, and was there another station trying to get in?
Good evening, Bill. K8WLS Mobile, in and out.
KWLF Mobile, Fritz, good evening to you. We'll be marking you as in and out. Thank you very much for checking in. You're probably already aware, but there are possibilities of showers a little later this evening. So just an FYI to you. Thank you for checking in. You have a good evening, safe travels, and 73. Ed, KB8BKE, good evening to you, and how did your day go?
Went very well. We did some gutter work today. Got some clogs out of the gutter and rearranged some valves out so that way opportunities and stuff like that. Other than that, we just kind of laid back and enjoyed the day. Give it back to you and we'll listen along. So thanks for taking on that. Got a good picture on the YouTube there. Talk to you soon. KBATK.
All right, Ed. Glad the day went well. I guess Time Warner's having some outages. It hasn't affected us as of yet, but if I drop out all of a sudden, you'll understand why. But UAZ indicated in Willoughby that he was having some issues, so we'll see what happens. The internet seems to have stayed up. Also, too, while I'm thinking of it, I meant to mention something last night. I will not be attending the next board meeting on Wednesday, whatever the date is next week. So it was the 1st, so I'm assuming it's probably the 8th. So I will not be attending the board meeting. I have a copy there. Alrighty, very well, Ed. You have a good evening and listen along as time permits in 73. Do we have any additional mobile or low power stations?
WB8IJG Mobile.
WB8IJG Megan Mobile, good evening to you. And how are things?
Things are pretty good. Bill, thanks for asking. I'm just on my way home. I should be there in about 10 minutes, over.
Very well. I got a copy on you. A little bit of noise, but not bad at all. And I'm glad you're taking some time checking in. If you do have time, feel free to listen along to the net. Do have and we'll present the audio news a little bit later. Anything else that you may have for the net?
No. Maybe just put a plug in for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Half Marathon on August 18th. If anyone wants to sign up, let me know. We're going to bring the communication. That's about it, Bill. Thank you. And I'll listen in. WB8IJG.
Very well, Megan, on the marathon and contacting you for public service. Very well. Thank you for taking some time and stopping by this evening. 73. Do we have any additional mobile or low power stations for the Thursday night 2-meter net? Then I'm going to go ahead and move over to our Echolink stations. Doug, N6, NFF in Sacramento. Good evening to you. We're running, I think, cloudy. I think this is outside. Don't have a good view of the outside, so we're due for some rain, so I'm assuming it's cloudy out there. Glass block windows don't make it very easy to see outside. We're running about 55 degrees. We did hit 70 yesterday. Maybe spring is beginning to arrive here in Cleveland, even though they are saying the weather temperature is supposed to drop tomorrow, but maybe we're getting a little indication that spring is getting close. So we'll see how things are with you. N6, NFF, N8IJG with the Thursday night 2-meter net.
Well, good evening, Bill, and everybody on the net. This is Doug, N6 NFF. We have sunny skies and 81 degrees here in Sacramento. Don't have too much to tell you. Went out on the tandem bike a couple of days ago and rode for 15.2 miles. I don't think I'll be going out next week because my pilot's in the process of buying another house and selling the one that he has. So he might not be available until after May 10th, which worked out to be a Friday. So we'll see what happens with next Tuesday if he can't go. I have something else that I really do need to take care of anyway. But all is well with us here. Sheila and I are fine. And of course, as you know, we're still living there. May is when you start getting the good weather there, and I hope that you do, because I would imagine you guys are more than anxious to see spring. We are finally seeing 80-degree temperatures on a somewhat regular basis. Let me buy a beat. Other than that, we really don't have too much going on here. It just seems like one day kind of segues into the next. So what we will do is we will turn it back to you and let you beat the bushes for check-ins, and we'll try and stay around. I've already heard the audio news, so I'm not sure if I'll stay around for that, but we'll at least try and hear some of the check-ins. So Bill, the best of 73 to you and everybody else in La Caroline, and we'll turn it back to you. Hope everything went well with your NCIS day last weekend. N8IJG and La Cara, Thursday night, 2-meter net. Here is N6 NFF.
N6 NFF, N8IJG returning. Very well, Doug. Yes, success with NVIS. I believe the count was 44, 45 contacts. So it was successful. They experimented with a couple of different antennas. Didn't break down the contacts per antenna, but total, as I said, if I remember correctly, was roughly about 44. So that ended up being positive experience, and we had the trailer set up over at the Historical Society. So, but very good to hear from you. Glad you did get an opportunity to do a little bit of bike riding. I always commend you on that. I think it's great activity. As I said before, it would be nice to ride the bike out to our breakfast and ride it back, but I don't have that ambition to ride from Wickliffe all the way out to Painesville, but good way to work off the breakfast and get some exercise. So good to hear you and Sheila are doing well. I do thank you for checking in. Listen along as time permits, and we do appreciate hearing from you. So you and Sheila have a very good evening, Tell again Sheila the best from the Lake County group. We'll say 73 to you, and have a great evening. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a beep here and let all the equipment reset. And that completes our Echolink stations. I am live streaming the 2-meter net, so if anybody is interested in also doing a video or watch a video of the net in progress, tune over to YouTube. Search N8IJG, and I did include today's date in the title, so hopefully that'll be a little more of an indicator. And I've been told there's usually a banner that says live streaming, so a couple of indicators as you might search YouTube. Call N8IJG is the search criteria. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the net to all stations. So if you're within the sound of my voice and have the wattage to hit this machine and wish to give it a good old college try, anyone, anywhere, for LaCara Thursday night 2-meter net, please call. This is N8IJG.
K8QXO.
Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Stu, Painesville Township, checking in. November 8th, Uniform, Alpha Zulu, Tom and Willoughby. Bill, I see you on Facebook, but I'm going to try and make it in and out. I'm going to watch the Blue Jackets, N8IJG.
All right, Tom, N8UAZ, thank you for checking in this evening. You have a good evening. Good luck with the Blue Jackets. Hopefully they will succeed, which by what I heard may move them into the next higher category with the Bruins, I believe it is. So thank you for stopping by in 73. Stuart, have you on the list? And we'll start this round off with Bob, KQXO. Good to see you last night, Bob, and how was your day?
N8IJG in the group. This is KQXO. Had a good day. Did a little chasing around and then went out, had a late afternoon lunch. Went to Ruby Tuesdays, and that was pretty good, but then came back, and since I ate earlier, it gave me a chance to make sure that I got down for the nap. And I wanted to thank you for a very great presentation last night on SDR, on the dongles and things like that, since I know little or nothing about it, so we'll keep trying to learn some more about it. And then meeting was really good. Nice group that showed up to hear your talk. So that's working well. With that, that's about everything I've done. And the landscapers came in and just got done cutting my front lawn. Unfortunately, the front lawn was good. The back lawn they could not get to because it's way, way, way too wet. So with that, I will turn it back to you, Bill, and listen in for the rest of the net. N8IJG, this is KQXO.
Very well, Bob. Yeah, we definitely have had a wet spring. Yesterday, we had some pretty good showers. I was really surprised. I think they lasted a lot longer than expected and came down a lot heavier than was indicated. So sorry about the backyard. I'm sure it's going to be a real task once it does finally dry out and you're able to get a tractor through there. But I know you've done it before, so I'm sure you have a solution to that problem. And yeah, I just try to, you know, show different aspects of the hobby, different tech pieces, which I try to play around with. SDR is one of the pieces that I toy around with. So I just let people know what's out there, opportunities, and the experiment around with the hobby itself. So do thank you for checking in. Did you have anything else for the net?
Not at this time.
Alrighty, we'll say 73 and drop down to Stuart, W8STU. Good evening to you, Stuart. Haven't heard you on a Thursday due to your schedule. So, coincidence today or schedule modification or a day off?
N8IJG, W8STU. Good evening, Bill, and rest of that. By golly, I have 62 degrees here right now in Painesville Township. I know my schedule changed. I'm off Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night now. So I should be able to check into the net as much as I can. But sometimes I get tired and I fall asleep. Goofy schedule. But very good. I bought a dipole. Got it in the mail yesterday. It was a off-center fed Wyndham, and got it off of eBay. And let's see, Maple Leaf Studio antennas. I checked them on eHam, and they got really great reviews. I don't have the time at all to build one, being full-time, working full-time, and having a couple children, so I ended up buying one, and I said I had really good eHam reviews. And I was going to put it up today, but I ran out of time. And break for time. Oh, and got me a couple springs to put on the ends and to help it move back and forth. So hopefully I'm going to get up there tomorrow and put it up. I already got the coax and everything, and got the paracord and everything. So if all goes well tomorrow, I'll get it up there about 60 feet. And most likely it'll be like a flat top, maybe a little bit of a sloper, but not much. Mostly about 60 feet flat top. That should work really well for me. But I had a real good day anyway. Today was payday too, so I had to run around paying bills, pick up medicine and whatnot. And hopefully I'll be back next Thursday, and hopefully I'll be in Turbine tomorrow morning. Well then, I'll say 73s, big 88s to the ladies, and until we talk again, God bless everyone. Back to net control, there was SPU.
Well, good luck with the antenna, Stuart. I've always liked the off-center fed antennas. The issue I have is, well, I'm assuming it's probably a 90-foot leg and a 40-foot leg, or approximately, and I cannot fit really the 90-foot length onto the property here. So I kind of had I did a modified V, something between 40 and 80. A little longer than 40, but not quite up to 80. So just where the somebody will be picking that up. So sorry about the interference. Wait, one more ring. I think it should be picked up. And well, it's taking a little longer. Anyway, just don't have lot size for it, but always had good contacts with people who have used the off-center, so hopefully it'll work out for you. And all right with running around. I don't know if it's good that they've changed around your schedule or not. but hopefully you're happy with it, and that's all that matters. But it is employment, so that's the major. Anything else, Stuart, that you might have?
No, that's it. That's it. And I neglected to say hi to Doug and hi to Sheila out there in California. And I heard Paul earlier, hi to Paul too. And with that, I'll say 73s. WSU.
All right, Stuart, I do thank you for taking some time and stopping by this evening, checking in. And you have a good evening, and 73. And this is N8IJG with the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night, 2-meter net. Do we have additional check-ins at this time? That was a good double. Nobody won. So I'll put out another call for check-ins and maybe try to space out a little bit.
N8IJG. K&LPC.
Out of that group, Larry, LPC, have you down? Mike, I did get you, and I've been talking and probably should pull up first Paul. K8 VLA, are you still with us?
Roger, Bill, K8 VLA, I'm still here.
Any comments that you may have for the net this evening?
One comment was nice to hear Stu out there. He hasn't been on for a while, so it was good to hear from him. And I'd like to bring up something. I just kind of was wondering how many people are still on Mars, the military auxiliary radio system. My good friend WHEQO used to belong to that, and I was hoping he was checking that tonight, but I did not hear him. So, is anybody still on the Mars?
Well, all I can do is put out a call to see if there are. I personally am not, but is there any station that is part of the Mars organization? And I'm not, by that I would say, Paul, the answer is probably no.
Well, if you do a little studying, and it's kind of a dead system in some ways, but it's one of those systems that if the crap hit the fan, amateur radio could make a big, have a great, I'm looking for the right words here, help with the military and what have you. If, let's say, we had an EMP thing going on, we lost the internet, we lost cell phones and all that good stuff, I believe it's still a worthwhile program.
I'm not overly familiar with it. I know, or have heard, I should say, they have gone through various reorganization of its operation and functionality. And besides that, I really can't say too much more about it myself.
KQXO.
The Army, the Navy, and the Air Force but then the Navy dropped out, so the only thing left is the Army and the Air Force. But it's one of those things, you don't need it, you know, with technology the way it is and what have you. But if things went to in the hell in the handbasket, the amateur radio could be the solution to communications across the country and I suppose the rest of the world. So I was doing a little studying, and you might want to check into it. KAPLA.
All right, Paul. We had a station in there may have comment. Bob, KQXO?
Yeah, the last I saw from the military, I am ex-Navy, and my understanding is that as of today, the Mars network has been shut down by all services.
All right, Paul. As I said, I think if it gets to that, I have a I don't know concerns, for lack of some better words, about some of the emergency services. If it gets that bad, we're not going to worry much about amateur radio. We're going to be more concerned about personal, family, health services. So that's just, as I said, my personal take on if it ever got to that extent.
Well, I guess I was just kind of expressing my opinion that I think it was a good thing and it's something they had in place, and we've been very complacent because things do happen, and with the newer technology, we just all depend on all that newer technology, and you just don't know. Something could kill the whole system, the satellites and what have you, and I think it would have been beneficial, but of course we can't see into the crystal ball, and hindsight is always better than what you can see ahead of time. So, but it was just a thing I was studying it. Thank you, KPLA.
All right, Paul. As I said, haven't really looked into it, and as I said, and myself, I just there's a place for amateur radio, but I guess if it got to that disaster, probably your best is a 357. So. But anyway, anything else, Paul?
That'll do it for this evening, Bill. Thank you very much. I like seeing the live streaming. It's kind of a nice touch. KABLA. Turn it back to Nectarville.
All right, Paul. Do thank you for checking in, and yeah, I just play around with different things. As I said, allows me to play with some software. It is open source, which I did talk about last night, and gives me an opportunity to play as well, and just give another aspect to the net and to the hobby. So 73, and we'll drop down to Mike, WB8ZGH, and see how his lawn mowing's been going.
Is WB8JG. Good evening, Bill, and everyone listening on the net. Well, the lawn mowing, the lawn is growing. The mowing is not happening. Had one go around with it, and it is getting very green out there. And I think it's going to get a little greener before I get back on the tractor and go at it again. I should change blades, so I think that's the next project, especially if it's going to be raining. I can do that in the garage. And nothing more exciting here. Nice presentation last night, and with a good group in the meeting. And that's about it from here. I'll just listen along and hear what everybody else has to say at this point. Thanks for picking up the net. We didn't have any 10-meter last night, but stay tuned. we will be back on the air on the 8th. It is N8IJG.
All right, Mike. Yeah, they're indicating rain through most of the day tomorrow, at least midday. So you might get some garage time to get that deck worked on. Lawn does look good. I will. Right now, we should take pictures of it and keep them posted for July and August. When the lawns aren't as green as they presently are. They do look nice at the moment, so I agree with you there. And it was a good meeting last night, good attendance, and good information always being passed, so nice to get the group together. Do thank you for checking in. You have a good evening. We'll say 73. And we'll go down to Larry, K8LPC.
N8IJG in the group at K8LPC. A very good evening again to you, my friend Bill. A very good evening to everyone. Gosh, a lot of interesting conversations tonight. First, I'd like to thank you for your most excellent presentation last night. That was swell. That had a lot of great information. I heard a lot of compliments about it walking around the room. And as for Paul's comments on Mars, I haven't heard anything about it being taken out of service. I haven't got any Mars contacts this month, but I know I often get them on the Ohio Single Sideband net. I participate occasionally, usually they're around 60 meters, but maybe that's something that happened at the beginning of the month. That'll give me a reason to look into that. Other than that, I talked to Jim, A80Y, last night, and I found out no one had signed up for the 40 meter station for field day. So I quickly switched to 40. And I know I got the email from Jim. I'm going to go to the Historical Society and ring out my antenna and just to make sure everything is okie and dokie. And I did try to go register on the Cleveland Touring Club Sunday in June website, but that wasn't happening. They had nothing there for volunteers, and they wouldn't let me register. So I did shoot them a little email to ask them if there was a different website. Maybe Mike or Ed could send me in the right direction if they know there's a different website for volunteers. Other than that, like I said this morning, I had an air conditioner guy over here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he crawled around and did this, that, and of course the other thing. And I stimulated the economy, but he said everything is okie dokie. I said I have an older style compressor that uses a Freon that's it's really, really expensive, and I might have to upgrade someday, but I'm going to put that on the back burner until I really need to do it. So with that, I can't really think of anything much else. I got some more monthly reports I have to handcraft and get out there since I'm involved in so many nets. So trying to ship a couple more of those out tonight. And thank you very much for picking up the nets. I'll be looking forward to hearing the AWRL audio news. With that, let me send it back to you, my friend. N8IJG in the group, K8LPC.
Okay, LPC N8IJG returning. I have that. That's my big problem with our air conditioner unit. It does use the older Freon, and yes, was told the same thing. That's why I'm getting it replaced. I won't say cheaper than getting a recharge of Freon plus whatever repair, but in the long run, the Freon is just far too expensive for maintaining it. So even though it's probably going to cost me a little bit more up front, in the long run with the newer Freon, it's more to my advantage to replace the unit. So that's I agree with that philosophy, and I heard, as I said, that's what was indicated to me by the heating, air conditioning people that came over here. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Mars does require some additional testing, a different license, not a different license, modification of call, have to modify radios to operate within the Mars frequencies. There is some cross banding that can be done. They've done it at times, but beyond that, and I know that Bob indicated it's gone. That's something that would have to be further research. So I do know they've done some definite modifications just due to lack of participation with the getting people into the Mars group. So, but very well. Good to see you last night. And anything else that you may have for the net?
Not much. I'll just plug. I've had very good luck with a contract in Alberta. Sheet metal, and they just put a new boiler for me, and they maintain my HVAC system. I haven't already selected a contractor. I can give you the telephone number on Mailbox Mobile. But they're very, very reliable. They come out really fast in a hurry, and they seem to be reasonably priced. So that's my plug for this today. That's really about it.
All right, Larry. I've got somebody already kind of lined up and recommended from a previous contractor that I was using, so I'll probably go with them. Well, do thank you for checking in. Good to see you last night. We'll say 73 to you. And as I look up, we have a couple of additional Echo-Link stations, so I'm going to go ahead and grab them and see if they're available. W8MIG, Jim, are you still with us?
This is W8MIG, Jim. Yeah, I'm on Echo-Link because, I don't know, from my QTH here lately, I've been having issues hitting the 210, so I figured, well, why not use technology, right? I was going to show up last night, but that didn't come to plan as I dozed off. And when I woke up, it was too late to go, so maybe next month. Want to start coming around, checking out the new club and see, I am interested. Other than that, that's all that's going on. Everybody knows of the Maple Festival. We had a station set up there. HF, VHF, UHF. Saturday we did very well. On HF, we talked, well, several places throughout the country. Was pleased with our outcome. Sunday, however, it's like the switch got turned off. We had no luck whatsoever, so That's okay. We still do a put demonstration for the public. And that's what we're there for. Promote amateur radio. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Like I said, I just want to check in and say hello. And, well, we'll talk to you all again down the line. Have a good night all. Have a good night, Sir Bill. Thank you for picking up the net. N8IJG 73 will be standing by listening.
Forgot I hit a switch. Sorry about the extra noise. But very well, Jim. Yeah, I understand. A couple times you get in that lounge chair and kick up your feet, and you're looking at the back of your eyelids. So, been there, done that. I think most of us have, and have missed various meetings and other activities due to that. So glad the overall operation of your portable station at the festival went well. Varying results, but that's the way the propagation is, and according to a previous ARRL broadcast, it's not going to get much better for a while. So, and they kind of, what I've heard, we will probably never see again what we did through the late 80s and 90s when I first got into the hobby. So it may just be the situation now, but it's always great to get out and show the public. I've done the QRP in the parks, and it's nice to get a public display of our hobby, and I'm glad things went well. And it's good to use the technology when available. Use the resources that you can. So try to make the repeater as functional as I can, with as many capabilities to allow people to check in. So feel free to use them as needed. Do thank you for checking in. We'll say 73 to you. You have a good evening. And we have Mark standing by also on Echolink. KC8FQV. We'll send it over to you and see how things are with you.
All right, it's up here, yeah. I'm having dinner. No, but I ain't got time to talk. Went and got in the car. Got it all fixed up now. 69 degrees. So I figured I'd mention that. The sun basically out, but putting itself away for the night. I guess it wants to go to sleep. Just like everyone else wants to put their heads down. I guess the sun wants to put its head down. We're getting there. But great hearing you, and that was very good this morning. I was watching. Well, I don't know if you're streaming now. I just couldn't find it. So, geez, I gotta switch this over because, geez, before I gotta get back over to Wi-Fi. As soon as I get done transmitting, I'm gonna drop it, connect to Wi-Fi. I think at one point today I was doing something, so I took Wi-Fi off. Because sometimes when I get near stuff, it likes to grab the Wi-Fi, and then it can't get into it because I have to have a passcode. But we'll send it back to net control. Okay, self-QV?
All right, Mark. Yeah, I'm YouTube streaming, so I usually do that the first of the month, the first Thursday of the month. So, but do thank you for checking in, and you have a good evening. We'll say 73, and I'm going to go ahead and give a call out and see if Tom has a connection today, and we'll do it direct. He's tried previously. We'll see if what conditions are a little bit better for him today. K88SJG, are you available? N8IJG with a Thursday night 2-meter net.
Good evening, Bill. This is KD8SJG. I've moved into the parking lot over by Giant Eagle here in a minute, so hopefully I'm reaching out to you. Back to you.
Well, you're doing a very good job. You found a very good parking spot. We have one station that unfortunately has to drive to the end of his driveway. He calls himself Mailbox Mobile. I guess we're going to have to refer you to as Big Bird Mobile. But yes, you are working and you're coming in nice, clear, and strong.
The signal report. Yeah, Big Bird. Okay. Maybe I'll land on that mobile mailbox. Anyway, good day. Done and waiting on the tomorrow getting the stitches out of my upper lip. So other than that, I'll just say 73 to the group and good listen to everyone. And I'll just be listening for the rest of the evening. KD8SJG back to net control.
All right, Tom. Do appreciate you checking in. Glad you found a good hot spot and a little inconvenient at the moment, but as I said, we'll listen around and see if we can find some other means for you. So 73, you have a good evening, and thank you for stopping by again. And this is N8IJG with the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night 2-meter net. Do we have additional check-ins at this time?
A check-in, but a question, KAVLA.
Paul, VLA, go ahead.
I believe you're taking care of the Lacaro website. I was looking for a roster of all the members of the club. Is that not there?
That is not, we don't post that on the website. I personally don't like to post names, calls, any identifiable material that somebody can use. So we do a printed roster, or our president, secretary, maybe treasurer, one of the three, can send you out an email of the roster, but no, it is not published on our website.
Okay, very well. I think I told you that I filled out the paperwork and sent in my check, so I should be a Lacaro member sometime very soon, after what, 30 years. But I just like interested to see who's out there on and belongs to the club. KDLA, that's all.
All right, Paul, and as I said, yes, I do run the website, and I have some security concerns, and anything can be hacked at any time, and don't want to put any of the members' calls are identifiable, even though some can be found elsewhere and this and that, but we don't directly post it on the website. So I'm sure it can be emailed to you, and once we get the paperwork. So, and I don't know where that currently stands. So, alrighty, any additional check-ins for the Thursday night 2-meter net? I'm going to go ahead and go to the club calendar, which is available at www.lcara.org. And if you're looking for the LaCara meeting, that was yesterday. So next meeting will be in June. So that'll be the first Wednesday in June, 7:30 p.m. over at the Lake County Historical Society. Next big event is Dayton Hamvention. That's on the calendar. Starts on the 17th and concludes on the 19th. So for those that are going, we've got 2 weeks, and we will be back in Xenia. So the Dayton Hamvention is drawing close. Excuse me. And let me grab a beep here. Coming up, well, in about 3 weeks is the third Tuesday breakfast group gathering, Perkins Restaurant in Paynesville. Open event. Number of the area amateur operators get together monthly to discuss anything. So as I said, if you like, feel free to stop by. We usually start gathering a little after 8. Order off the menu about 8:30, and just a way to meet some of the area amateur operators. That's at the Perkins Restaurant in Paynesville. And that pretty much concludes activities that are going on right now through May. The biggest one, of course, is Dayton Hamvention, and pretty much everyone works around that. So usually May is a relatively quiet month, and June usually picks up. And once again, we'll put out a check to see if there are additional check-ins for the LaCara Thursday night 2-meter net before I bring up the audio news. Arcade LPC on Echolink, little light audio, but go ahead.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I know my audio is light on my iPad, but you're absolutely correct, and for Paul's knowledge, we don't publish our roster because of our membership's privacy.
Why do you have
I do handle our club's roster, and when I get the information that he has joined, I'll certainly be glad to call him and let him know that we have received the payment and he's a member. Sometimes we send out abridged versions, but we certainly don't send out anything with everyone's personal contact information. With that, back to you. N8IJG, KLBC.
All right, Larry, thank you for that information. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the ARRL audio news, and it is 8 minutes and 21 seconds in length. And after a couple of button pushes, this is N8IJG presenting the ARRL audio news.
This is ARRL Audio News, your weekly summary of news highlights from the world of amateur radio. If you retransmit audio news through a repeater, listen for the Morse code K character, followed by 4 seconds of silence. That's your cue to stop transmitting so that your repeater timer can reset.
I'm Carla Pereira, KC1HSX, and these are our stories for Friday, April 26th. ARRL and the FCC have signed a memorandum of understanding that paves the way to implement the new and enhanced Volunteer Monitor Program. The memorandum establishes the volunteer monitors as a replacement for the Official Observers Program. Current official observers have been encouraged to participate in the new program. We are excited by the opportunity to codify a partnership with the FCC and to work together to achieve our mutual interests of protecting the integrity of our amateur radio bands, said ARRL President Rick Roderick, K5UR. The Memorandum of Understanding will serve as the foundation for a new level of partnership on this very important issue. ARRL has contracted with retired FCC Special Counsel and former Atlantic Division Vice Director Riley Hollingsworth, K4ZDH, to oversee the ARRL's role in the development and implementation of the new Volunteer Monitor Program. Approved by the ARRL Board of Directors at its July 2018 meeting, the new Volunteer Monitor Program is a formal agreement between the FCC and ARRL, in which volunteers trained and vetted by the ARRL will monitor the airwaves and collect evidence that can be both used to correct misconduct or recognize exemplary on-air operation. Cases of flagrant violations will be referred to the FCC by the ARRL for action in accordance with FCC guidelines. The intent of this program is to re-energize enforcement efforts in the amateur radio bands. It was proposed by the FCC in the wake of several FCC regional office closures and a reduction in field staff. Hollingsworth has identified 3 phases to the program: development, solicitation and training, and implementation. Hollingsworth has committed to FCC and ARRL officials to ensure the adequacy of training for the new positions, to review the quality and utility of volunteer monitor submissions to the FCC for enforcement actions, and to advocate for rapid disposition of cases appropriately submitted to the FCC. ARRL officials estimate that within 6 to 9 months, the first volunteer monitors will be in place and ready to begin their duties. With an eye toward helping new and inexperienced hams enjoy the full range of activities that amateur radio has to offer, Hamvention and the ARRL 2019 National Convention will embrace the theme of mentoring the next generation. Hamvention hosts the National Convention May 17th through 19th at the Greene County Fairgrounds and Expo Center in Xenia, Ohio. This will mark the 3rd year from Hamvention at its new venue. A contingent of ARRL staff and member volunteers will join forces to make available many ARRL exhibits and resources to Hamvention visitors. The centerpiece of ARRL's participation will be ARRL Expo in Building 2. An extensive roster of exhibits and activities will also educate and entertain. Instructors from the ARRL Teachers Institute for Wireless Technology will be on hand to bring wireless and electronics theory to life in hands-on demonstrations and lessons. They'll also touch on satellite communications, microcontrollers, and the fundamentals of robotics. At a Sunday morning forum called Discovering Radio Communications, presenters for the Teachers Institute will highlight a variety of instructional experiences and ideas. As part of its mentoring focus, ARRL has invited members of the Nashua, New Hampshire Area Radio Society, or NARS, to Hamvention and ARRL Expo to share the club's effective and well-developed outreach program. The ARRL Special Service Club, which boasts more than 200 members and is being recognized as the 2019 Hamvention Club of the Year, caters to radio amateurs of all interests and experience levels. NARS will host an interactive exhibit that may serve as a model for other radio clubs to emulate, as well as a Friday midday forum. Club members will discuss their activities and approach to building membership and club participation. A new, speedier, more contest-friendly digital mode is just days away, at least in its beta form. WSJTX developers see serious work on the new FT4 protocol began shortly after the FT8 roundup held last December. FT4 is an experimental digital mode designed specifically for radio contesting that, like FT8, uses fixed-length transmissions, structured messages with formats optimized for minimal contact, and strong forward error correction. Transmit-receive sequences are 6 seconds, making it 2.5 times faster than FT8, and about the same speed as conventional reads for radio contesting. FT4 can work network with signals 10 dB weaker than would be required to decode read while using much less bandwidth.
Oh, I lost my mouse button.
And now with this week's satellite update, here's Bruce Page, KK5DO. March 3rd marked the 50th anniversary of AMSAT. We have created a very special AMSAT journal for the 50th anniversary, and we would like to share it with you. You do not need to be a member of AMSAT, although we would appreciate it if you would join. The downloadable PDF is available from the main page at amsat.org. We hope that you enjoy going back in time and reading of our history and seeing where we are going. Nepal will be launching their first satellite later this year. It will be a 1U CubeSat and be called Nepali Sat-1. Sri Lanka will also have a satellite on the same launch. It is Ravana-1. And guess what? Japan will have a satellite as well, also a 1U CubeSat named Uguisu. All three satellites will share the same downlink, 437.375 megahertz, which is a 9K6 GMSK telemetry, as well as a CW beacon. The main mission is for the three to provide ciphered short messages in their beacons. This is Bruce Page, KK5DO, for the ARRL Audio News.
This is the ARRL Audio News propagation forecast for Friday, April 26th. We've returned to a featureless sun, so the solar flux index has dropped to 69. As you might expect, this translates to generally poor conditions on the higher HF bands, but 160 through 40 meters may provide some surprises. Of course, we're getting into thunderstorm season these days, so static crashes could be a hassle on 160 and 80 meters in particular. On VHF and UHF, significant band openings have been occurring on 2 meters and above in southern parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. And as we approach the end of April, keep an eye on 6 meters, since this marks the beginning of sporadic E season.
And that concludes ARRL Audio News for this week. Our thanks to all contributors to this week's report. ARRL Audio News is produced by the American Radio Relay League, the National Association for Amateur Radio. For more information on amateur radio or the ARRL, visit us on the web at arrl.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for ARRL. If you have a question or comment about ARRL Audio News, email us at audionews@arrl.org. This program is copyright ARRL, all rights reserved. 73, and thanks for listening.
The ARRL Audio News is a weekly presentation of the Lake County Amateur Radio Association. And this is N8IJG for the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night, 2 meter net. Do we have any additional check-ins at this time?
WASPU recheck.
Stuart, W8STU, go ahead.
Yes, Bill, thank you. I was wondering, I don't know the Lake County weather net frequency. The last I heard it was like a 440 frequency, but I don't know what it is. Do you know what it is by any chance?
I believe it's 444-475. I believe it is, or 443, but I believe it's 444-475.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I know it used to be on a 2-1 here. And I liked it when it was on a 2-1. It was very easy to get into. And then someone told me it was on a 440 repeater now. And I'll have to see if I can get into it and whatnot. Check it out. Thank you, Bill, and you had a great net tonight. Thank you, and have a great evening. WSPU.
All right, Stuart, thank you. And 73. Any additional check-ins for the Thursday night 2 meter net? It appears we'll start to put a wrap on tonight's net. If you've been out there listening to us on a scanner and have always wondered how to become an amateur radio operator, look at the LCARA website, www.lcara.org. Feel free to contact any one of the board members to learn how we can assist you in earning your amateur radio license. And I'll put a final call out to see if there are any additional check-ins to the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night, 2-meter net. And this has been a regularly scheduled session of the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night, 2-meter net. We meet every Thursday on this frequency at 7 p.m. local time. I would like to thank LCARA for the use of this repeater, and hearing no additional check-ins, I'm going to go ahead and close the session of the Thursday night 2-meter net at 8:09 p.m. local time, and I'll be returning the repeater to regular amateur radio use. Good evening to all. 73. This is N8IJG.